Welcome, everybody, once again. You're in the pit with Josh the Mosh. You know, we don't beat around the bush, so let's just get rolling. What is up, numero dos? You're back home.
Hey, man, good to be back. My trip to Heavy Metal was a prosperous one. Heavy Metal putting out nothing but bangers. I can't wait to talk about this show. We're going to have to wait till it comes on IWTV.
Yeah, no spoiler. We can't spoil those because
not yet, but I'll be ready to talk about it when it comes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. It was. I mean, I know what happened too. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, you do.
Cool, man. So what else has been going on?
Oh, you know, same thing, different day. I'm just ready to get down to wrestling and talk shit with the boys all night.
Sounds good. Well, let's start off like we always do and find out who is in the shadows and coming out of the shadows. What is up, man?
Nothing much. I have to come from a certain realm with my pick because Jesus Christmas. Can I say women's wrestling is the shit right now, especially this particular week? I mean, considering what happened last night with NXT, with Rhea and Raquel having, I'm trying to find the appropriate way of saying this, sirloin beef, sons of bitches, the female edition in regards to that Haas battle right there, and Io and Candice killing it as always. And of course, Sasha and Bayley always killing it as always, especially with that Hell in a Cell match, which got me questioning, gentlemen, why you guys ain't stepping your game, especially when Bayley and Sasha still in the show. But after some processing, and shout outs to you, Serenity, for dethroning our own Thunder Rosa with the NWA World Women's title, and thank you for that clinic that you had with Please Sign Layla Hirsch. Melanie will get more into that later, but if I had to pick my Woman of the Week for the 29th of October, pre-Halloween, I gotta go with the homie, especially what happened at Bound for Glory. So let me show you guys who I'm talking about. It's our new Impact Knockouts champion, the Undead Bride herself, Su Yung. Now, her winning the title was kind of abrupt because I don't know what's going on with Kylie Ray, because it was supposed to be Kylie versus Deonna Purrazzo for the title, but whatever's going on with Kylie, thoughts and prayers go out to you, girl. Hopefully everything's okay, but everything that just went through in regards of Deonna taking out Susie, as you see on the right, with the bloody hand right there. That's basically the character she formed after Jessica having killed Su Yung off of Impact, and Father James Mitchell brought her back to life. But Su Yung never was the Undead Bride for the longest time, for the 10 plus years that she's been wrestling. Because as you see right here, she actually was a part of FCW for a brief period of time as Sonya. She didn't really do much in FCW. She was just there, and after she got released, she came to the Texas scene back in 2011, I would say, for ACW, and she's been heavily featured throughout the Texas scene, whether it's ACW, Heavy Metal, which I know you guys recently saw her. She also won the ACW American Joshi title, as well as 2 Queen of Queens tournament victories. As Brad, I know you can vouch for that, especially when she kicked Phoebe in the hula hoops, showcasing her personality side when she's not the Undead Bride. But people want to know how she became the Undead Bride. I'll tell you briefly. She had a match with Sweet Saraya Knight in Shine, to where Saraya Knight slapped her super silly to the point where she unlocked a hidden demon inside of Su Yung, as you see right here. And Su, the biggest horror film fanatic, has been killing it in this role. And I consider her one of my close friends because we bonded for the longest times ever since coming to Texas. And let's just say I've known her as long as I've known Athena. So just her success, her overcomings with everything after leaving WWE and just emerging herself as one of the most diverse individuals that can play multiple characters, a la Mick Foley, and her putting on a good matchup with Deonna Purrazzo at Bound for Glory, which says a lot because Bound for Glory is their WrestleMania. I have to give the homie Woman of the Week. And shout outs to her and her hubby, Rich Swann, because you got a husband and wife couple that's basically champions in Impact Wrestling. So I just want to give them a little shout out to Rich Swann as well, because he killed it with Eric Young. So I kind of wish they celebrated on screen, but Sue can't break character, obviously. But I got to give the Woman of the Week to the homie right there, because she's just been killing it wherever she goes.
Nice.
Yep. So now they're running Impact. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sue Young's as well. She was actually, and I mentioned this to Numero Dos yesterday, I think it was, the original PPW show. The main event was Thunder Rosa, Roxy, and the surprise entrance was going to be Sue Young. Like, I was going to have her as a surprise entrance into the title show. She was booked and everything. But COVID sucks, so fuck COVID.
Yeah. And you know how me and Sue bonded so much, you can blame Athena for this. And this is a true story. When I was doing like portfolio videos, I did one for Athena, which is on my YouTube video. She actually hit up Sue, and Sue DM'd me, and I did a 4-minute video highlighting Sue's before she blew up with the Undead Bride persona, and basically vouched for her ever since. And if you watch some classic ACW matches, her matches with Athena, especially one Queen of Queens match where Sue kind of threatened me to give up my chair so she could use it on Athena, and I was like,
nice.
Are y'all trying to have me have my own funeral, woman? And one of the portraits she gave me, it's like, dear Brandon, stop mentioning Athena around me. But yeah.
All right, man, appreciate it. We will summon you back to the shadows. We're trying to stay on schedule. That was awesome, though. Yeah, Sue Young's killing it. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and shout out to Rich Swann. Have a couple happy champions in Impact Wrestling. What's good?
Nice.
Fuck you, Nastico.
Hey, this motherfucker right here. Hey, real talk though. I'm gonna drop some news on Nastico for those of y'all that were not tuned into AAPW stream, which you should have been. This last weekend was their Halloween show, and Greenback was having his match, and Nastico showed up in the middle of it and straight went to town, being a real asshole. Hit him with the weakest fucking kendo stick shot I ever saw in my fucking life.
Wash your mask.
It was fun. It was fun to see him show up. Anyway, we're already in my time, my slot.
Roll it.
So I'm ready to talk about this one. This one's really important to me today. I wanted to highlight somebody. For those of y'all that have been listening to my segment for the last few weeks, we are at the end of Matt Tremont's Separate Ways tour. This is it. And I want to preface this with something that I've been saying to a lot of people online. You know, I know that not a lot of people like deathmatch wrestling, and I know that it's not everybody's thing, but the accomplishments that Matt Tremont has done are absolutely up there with people. There are people in this game that in their fields will never get the accomplishments that Tremont's done. I mean, he's been everywhere. He's done everything. He's done it all. He's a very respectful guy. You should hit that guy harder. That's coming from me, Nasco. But Tremont is at the end of a long and tenured career, so I really want to take some time to highlight that. Tomorrow night, he will face Ricky Shane Page in a death match at H2O, which is his wrestling school up in New Jersey, in the New Jersey area. So I'm really excited about that. But I want to take some time to really talk about everything Matt Tremont was able to accomplish. I don't want to compare him to like a main roster guy. I don't want to say he's the Hulk Hogan or anything, because what Matt Tremont did was so different from what anybody else has ever accomplished. For a long time, deathmatch wrestling went into just like almost a wasteland. Like it just wasn't a thing for so long. And it was like true hardcore fans that were really, really seeking it out. And Matt Tremont carried it on his back. And I just wanted to highlight some of his greatest accomplishments. He was a 2013 Carnage Cup winner. He won the 2015 Tournament of Death out of CZW, which is a pretty big deal. It's one of the more fun tournaments that used to take place back then. What's up, El Rayo? He was also the 2014 and 2015 IWA Mid-South King of the Deathmatch winner, a back-to-back tournament King of the Deathmatch winner. Almost three-peated if it wasn't for my dude John Wayne Murdoch. But really big accomplishment there. He was a Cage of Death winner with Onita. They tagged up together against DJ Hyde and Mikada, and they won Cage of Death. He also won 2017 Nick Gage Invitational too, which was wild. If you like death matches and you've never seen that show, it's a real winner. That's one of my favorites to ever take place. He actually beat Nick Gage, and that damn near killed him. He almost died. But it's a really good thing. And I just want to close out with saying that what Tremont has done, I think, deserves respect from everybody. You might not be a deathmatch fan, you might not be a blood and guts fan, but what Tremont has accomplished in his career is something that will never be done again in this division or anywhere else. So props to Matt Tremont. I can't wait tomorrow night for the send-off. And that's my segment.
That's awesome, man. It's like show love to these guys that, I mean, they sacrifice so much, and especially like wrestlers alone, you know what I mean? In general, sacrifice so much. And then these guys, I mean, it's just crazy what they do.
Matt Tremont's one of the true storytellers in deathmatch. It was a real honor to watch his show, his matches when I was in the collective, and you could feel his emotion and his intensity. So that's definitely going to be missed.
Beautiful, man. All right. Well, as we normally do, we roll from the death match to Japan. Like this first, we usually go to Mexico, but we're going to go to Japan first. And you know who that means.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hold on, let me see. Make sure y'all see me. Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
You've got to show that pretty side.
I was gonna
Right,
say,
you know, I gotta get my good angle, right. Hey. So I know it's been a minute, and a lot has happened here in G1, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna run through the cards real quick and some of like the major stuff that happened. So here, okay. So Kota Ibushi is your G1 champion. Now, thing about New Japan is a lot of times they go with the most obvious. But we don't think it's the most obvious, right? Because we think, we all thought it was going to be Jay White, Okada, even Naito and all that. But when you look at the story of Ibushi, he's been built up so brilliantly. So it goes back 3 years, back in 2018. He actually was in the finals with Tanahashi, got beat. Tanahashi then went and won the title from Kenny Omega. Year after that, it was him against Jay White. And then he lost against Jay White. And then, of course, this year, he won the year after that, and then he won again this year. Now, what's pretty significant about this is, so there is Chono. He is Mr. G1. He's one of the most G1s for like longest time, right? Ibushi is actually did something he's never done. So Ibushi is the first guy to be in 3 G1 finals back to back to back. The third person to win a G1 back to back. The other ones were Tenzan and Shono, and now here he is, looking all great with that beautiful briefcase. Now, after he won, of course, Jay White, being the awesome heel that he was, he went and he told him, "Hey, I love that briefcase, but guess what? I actually beat you during the G1. So really, you're not the G1 champion. I should be the G1 champion, right?" So for Power Struggle, which is going to be November 7th, we're going to have, actually we'll get to it. We're going to have him versus Jay White for the briefcase. Now, no one, maybe one time. No, I'm going to say no one has ever beat anyone for the briefcase, right? So every year we say it could never happen. But this year being the situation that we're in, and it's going to be 2 Wrestle Kingdom nights, there's a possibility that Jay White may Conan Tab roll and win the briefcase. But there's a bigger storyline with Jay White, which of course is going to be him and Evil vying for who's going to be the leader of Bullet Club. Now, during the whole G1, during the promos, they kept taking shots at each other, and even Yujiro Takahashi, who agreed with him that he was just going to lay down and do an old school Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan, the finger poke of doom. Instead, Yujiro actually tried to win. And now in these Road to shows, Yujiro has been teaming up with Evil. So now we're already seeing some divisions occurring within the Bullet Club. So if Jay White does win the briefcase, it's going to make things interesting. But most likely, Ibushi is actually not going to lose. And then the biggest this was big, but the biggest thing that everyone was going crazy for is the betrayal of Will Ospreay on Okada. Now, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, when young Will Ospreay was just in Rev Pro, Okada actually wrestled him, and he was so impressed with Will Ospreay, he personally vouched for him in New Japan and said within 4 to 5 years, he's going to be the best wrestler in the world. Well, guess what? We're in 4 to 5 years now, right? And what occurred in this match, if Will Ospreay won, Okada would not be able to be in the finals against Ibushi. Well, he had a bigger plan, and the great Okarn, who actually was on an excursion, came out of nowhere, attacked Okada, and then Will Ospreay did the unthinkable and beat him. Not only did he beat him, right after he beat him, he went and actually did the hidden blade on Okada, turning on him and telling him, I'm not like, you're fucking nobody. I'm no longer under you. I'm going to be the champion now, right? Thus creating the Empire, right? So now we have a new stable now in New Japan with him, the Great Okarn, and Bea Priestley, who's also from Stardom. So now you have a pretty good, interesting situation now because you have a Stardom wrestler who's actually in New Japan, and she's there as his hype man. So now Will Ospreay's completely changed, and now we have another faction, and we don't know who's going to be joining this faction. But it's going to be kind of interesting because now we have another heelish faction because we already have Bullet Club doing their nonsense, and they're going to split. The Suzuki-gun, they can be tweeners. So what is Will Ospreay and the Empire going to do? We have no idea, but it's going to be exciting to find out, right? Oh, yeah. So now for Power Struggle, it's going to be November 7th, and this is going to be basically the big show just before before the junior, the best of Super Juniors and the tag team team tournament. So we have Okada against the Great Okarn. It says Okan, but that's what it's actually supposed to be now. Now, most likely Okada's going to beat him, but you never know with New Japan. They might throw just a little curve in there and actually have Great Okarn actually win. One of the reasons is he's actually really loved in the back, and they see a lot of big things happening for him. So him being Okada, it'll be kind of a big deal, but most likely Okada is going to beat him to then thus set up, well, it's going to be him against Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, or that's what I think anyways. But we will find out.
Makes sense.
Yep. Oh, and then so we have the other big match we have is Suzuki versus Shingo Takagi. Now in the G1, Shingo actually beat Suzuki, and Suzuki before then actually beat Shingo for the title. So this is the rubber match. So we're gonna see who's the bigger badass, Suzuki or Shingo Takagi. I'm hoping for Suzuki because he's one of my favorite wrestlers, but we'll find out. Also, so Kenta has a really shitty briefcase that is the IWP US Heavyweight Challenge. I cannot emphasize how shitty that fucking briefcase looks. It looks like it's from a party store. It's horrendous. They should never, come on, New Japan, be better. It's a fucking terrible briefcase. Anyways, so what we have here is, this is kind of interesting here. So you have Kenta versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi right now is on a downturn, right? But what will be a bigger match? Kenta versus John Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom, or Tanahashi versus John Moxley? Now, in my opinion, Tanahashi versus Moxley is a fucking banger, and it's a Wrestle Kingdom match. So I'm thinking that Tanahashi is gonna finally get one and beat Kenta, and Kenta's pushed really good. So I'm hoping for that because come on, Tanahashi and Moxley, that's gonna be a banger.
Oh yeah.
And then last, okay. So, like I said, Ibushi and Jay White, they're gonna be fighting for the challenge of the contract. And there's actually one other thing I want to note. So, during the interview with Ibushi, they were asking him, does he care about the IC title? He says he's done it, doesn't care about it. So he really wants the US title. He really wants the heavyweight championship. So what I'm thinking is Naito's probably going to be actually fighting individually for each belt, because they're already setting up the little seeds that they're going to split up the championship. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And fucking Evil versus Naito. Whatever. Naito's gonna win. Evil will continue doing bullshit. Enough of that. But yes, Ibushi and Jay White. Watch it for that. Don't worry about. We're just not gonna talk about Naito versus Evil, one of the worst fucking feuds of the year. Anyways, that is all I have for today.
And breathe.
So, yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, no. Evil's fucking awful. Like, I like Evil, but all he is the same shit every single fucking time. New Japan does not know how to do fucking heels very well because all they do is, oh, hey, it wrestle to wrestle. Oh, no, someone's coming to interfere. Oh, no, look. Oh, the ref does a ref bump. Oh, fuck off. Come on. Let's be better, New Japan. Be better. Fuck. Anyways, sorry about that little rant. Yeah,
Well,
go
there's
ahead.
our taste of Japan, man. Appreciate you dropping knowledge like you always do. Welcome back. You're missed.
Of course, man. Glad to be back.
Later, brother. Man,
And that guy's got a ton of shit to cover every week. I only Angel can do it.
Yep. It's like I don't know how he watches all that stuff, man. So we're heading back to the United States through Mexico. So that was time for our Lucha segment. So let's bring in numero uno.
Yo, what's up? How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry for being a little late, but we're finally home. Let's start off by talking about the Lucha match AAPW had last Saturday. Man, that match was crazy, and I really have no words to explain how cool that match was. So I made a little highlight video so y'all could better understand how that match went.
Very cool. Are you gonna say who the match was?
Yeah, the match was OSD Old School Domination versus the Lucha Legion. OSD, it's the members of that is Manny Domingo, Ace Seidel, and Jose Valiente. So just look at the highlights of this match and see for yourself.
I like the music. Oh, wow. Nice. Don't blast it. I'm watching. I'm gonna have to ask our guest about this one later on in the show. You're muted, Brad, if you're talking.
I was just saying that the storyline for this match actually started before COVID.
Yeah.
That part was loud.
So yeah, that's how it went down.
Very cool.
It was an
Yeah,
intense match.
the storyline, like the match told the story because Insane lost the title without actually losing it. So he got attacked by his own partners, and they took the belt from him, and they proclaimed themselves the champions. And so last 2 weeks ago, I believe, 2-3 weeks ago, they were gonna tag Insane again, but Rayo came out and help them, because they've been tagging before. They won the titles before already, so they just came back one more time and they took the gold.
Very cool.
I've been going to AAPW for about 3 years, like straight, like pretty often. And this show has been one of the best shows I ever seen, if not the best show AAPW has ever had. All the matches from top to bottom were really good.
Yeah, it was a good show.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw y'all saying, nominee for card of the year.
Yeah, that's one.
That's legit.
That part was like really, really good from top to bottom.
Very cool.
So that's all I got for today, guys.
Well, thanks for popping in and dropping the knowledge.
All right.
Be safe. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Short and to the point. It's like, and here it is, and it was awesome, and they kicked ass, and that's it. Love it. Man.
It was a great show.
We gotta. I don't know if we haven't really brought it up in a while about my relationship with Austin, the town of Austin. I don't go to Austin or stop in Austin for any reason. But I did also promise that I was going to go to one show this year, but I think I got to buy because of COVID, so I get to extend it to next year.
We'll get you back.
But I'll have to go to 2 then.
Yeah.
Very cool. But let's keep it rolling because we're running about 5 minutes late.
A little bit.
Let's head to AEW and bring in, see if she's
Hey
still
guys,
on.
how you doing?
Mel on a mission.
Yep, I will jump right in. I know you guys are running late. So the big upset that happened on Tuesday, I think everybody knows already. It set the world ablaze, or the wrestling world ablaze on social media. Is that Thunder Rosa lost her NWA title to Serena Deeb, who is contracted with AEW. So on Dynamite, Serena Deeb defended her title against Layla Hirsch, who made a killer debut on Dark and then came on to Dynamite. She looked great. Both ladies did great. Serena Deeb retains, so she will hold the title. I don't know what they're gonna do with it exactly. If she's gonna keep defending it on AEW, or she's going to be traveling around and it'll be just a belt that she holds while in AEW. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So a lot of stuff is being set up for Full Gear, which is going to be next week. And as we know already, there have been some cancellations of female talent here in Texas because of speculation is AEW, because they haven't said. They just know that Kylan King, the Pink Dream, Alex Gracia, and Red Velvet have all had to pull out of their Texas states over the next 2 weeks because of unknown circumstances. But as we all know, 2 of those are staples on AEW, and Alex Gracia did have her debut already. So here's fingers crossed that they all have a great journey, and it is for AEW and bigger things. So obviously cards are always subject to change.
Very true.
Exactly. And then, Eddie Kingston and John Moxley, they keep building that up. That's going to be a great main event because, they're both talkers. And when you let them off their leashes, they're great. And they're making it personal. They're making it, they're making it dark. They're making it, making it about family, not just 2 wrestlers, but family, friends going after each other, which I love. And it's building up to be a really great fight. We have not seen the end of the Cody versus Orange Cassidy feud because the first one ended in a time limit draw. The second one, which was the lumberjack match, there was interference. They called it. So there still has been no winner, which is nice. I just think it's funny that Orange Cassidy is the one who always gets dragged into these like 3 and 4 match feuds. With Jericho, I think it was like 3 matches. So I think I like it.
Works for
we
him.
got to see. Yeah, it does. It works for him, and it works for his character. He keeps building up. Because I don't think we've seen the extent of what Orange Cassidy is actually capable of. They're really building up.
No winner, which is nice. I just think it's fun.
And they keep adding. So then we have MJF who wants to join the Inner Circle, and we got the amazing dinner debonair out of it. I think next week we're going to get some more good content out of it, because we're going to see MJF and Wardlow against Sammy Guevara and Ortiz. So that's going to be a different little tag team to see if they can. And then, of course, if Ortiz and Sammy beat Wardlow and MJF, then MJF goes on to fight Jericho to see if he gets into the Inner Circle. Just a lot of stuff being set up. Like I said, for Full Gear. Just a lot of stuff, like FTR is finally going to go up against the Young Bucks, which I think everybody's been waiting for since they were announced on the show, or since they debuted, and especially now with the tag titles on the line. I really like it. The other match we're going to finally see as well is the finals of the tournament, which is, like many speculated, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page. And a lot of us had already kind of predicted it, but it's a match we want to see, and I think it's going to be a great match. Little by little, we're starting to see the change in Kenny's character and the overall performance, and just little things that are hinting to a change. Are we going to see the full cleaner? Probably not. I think we're going to see a variation of the cleaner, because I don't think he's going to go straight for the same character, but I think he's going to go. I think he will go full cleaner, but just a variation of it, not the same character.
I'll take
I'll take it too. And I hope he dyes his hair black. I really hope he dyes his hair back. I hope he comes back out with the aviator sunglasses on, some kind of leather jacket. I want it all.
Yep.
And I want angry Kenny back.
Yep. He's there. It's coming. I dig it.
But on the same token, I do like the fact that we're seeing a new Miro, this gamer Miro with the flower shorts and the t-shirts and the flip-flops. I like this Miro a lot. He is funny. Yeah, he's got it's a great character for him. I feel like it's more in line of who he is. So he's not just playing somebody, it's him. And putting him with Kip Sabian is like they're a good foil for each other. They're really good together. And with and then of course rounding it out with Penelope Ford. So I really like what they're setting up for Full Gear. I'm excited. I'm saving my pennies. I'm buying it.
Sweet. Yeah, I definitely will be too. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be there. But yeah, I'm gonna have to settle for just watching it at home.
I know.
I go to all the pay-per-views for AEW. What's the plan?
They've been so far. I've really liked all their pay-per-views. I know some people have always hit and miss and stuff like that, but I feel like they've been very consistent on their pay-per-views. It's not the point where I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, is this still going on?" It's like, "Oh man, this went by kind of fast." At least for me, they seem to go by pretty fast. So I enjoy them a lot, and they always seem to bring a lot of content, a lot of fun. And of course, I watch all the extras, the dark and the BTS, or this can be BTE and stuff like that. So
absolutely,
I like it.
Definitely, that's why you're our AEW expert.
Yeah, I'm a mark, guys. I'm sorry.
We all are. Whoever says they aren't is lying.
Yeah,
that's just straight up.
But on the last note, I will be crossing my fingers that Thunder Rosa shows up on AEW and just beats the hell out of the women's division and takes her title back. Sorry, Serena D, but it's got to go home.
Bring it back to Texas.
Bring it back.
That's awesome. All right,
and that's it, guys. That's AEW in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Great stuff. Great stuff. We are ready for Full Gear. It's coming up fast.
Yeah.
I've even been following the storylines for this one. I haven't been into AEW as much, but even I've been following and reading the storylines for this one, so I'm excited for it.
Very cool. Well, like I said, I feel like we're just rushing, but we're actually like almost 5 minutes late, and our guest has been patiently waiting. So I say let's do the damn thing and bring him on in. What do you think?
Let's do it. What's up, John?
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to the pit.
Yeah, we talk about AAPW like so much in the show, so it's just only fitting to finally get you in here to join us. You know?
Yeah.
Well, let's hop straight into it. Ray, why don't you tell our watchers who may not be familiar with you a little bit about yourself?
I was trained back in 1995, and I worked from 95 to 2012, where I officially retired after 17 years in the business. From then on, I started training guys in the year 2000, helping Mr. Mexico, George de la Isla, who owned AAPW prior to me, having some setbacks here and having some, personal problems in my life, whatever, after retiring from wrestling. I ended up buying AAPW from George in 2017. And I think the old man was more comfortable selling it to me because he was like my father, the father I never had. And so it was more of a chance that I was able to fulfill his philosophy and bring in his philosophy and passing it on, because being an apprentice under him for those many years that I was, and learning and sitting back, I got to fly just like Pence does, sitting there and learning from him after all these years. I was able to transition AAPW and take it to a direction that he wasn't able to due to health or do whatever the situation was, and it's been working pretty well for us since then. So overall, I've been in this business now for 25 years.
Hell yeah! So a little bit about your wrestling career. Like, what are some highlights from your career when you were wrestling?
I'll share them. I don't like to share them as much because I'm not a very, I don't like to show off. I'm not a show off person.
Sure.
But I'm going to tell you, in my career, I was very blessed to work with names and work with people. I think one of my highlights of my career that I got to work a one-on-one match with New Jack, the Extreme Hardcore Gangster. I got to work with him. I got to work a lot of hardcore matches in Texas as well. And then also in Arkansas and Oklahoma. I had a feud going on for years with the Guerreros, with Hector, Mondo, and Chavo Sr. I got to work with Eddie as well before he passed away, rest his soul. And, also got to work with Louisiana. I got to work with a lot of the guys who are coming out of WCW, going into the Universal Wrestling Federation. I was working with them in Louisiana, touring with them as well. I got to work a lot with Stevie Ray, who also booked me a lot back in the times, working with Mr. Perfect, working with the Road Warriors, working with Kamala, working with all these people that I've seen them all fade away after having good friendships with them over the years and stuff like that. So it's been a rough time for me to see all the people that I've been in the ring with or shared the locker room with and laughed and joked and played, and they're no longer around. So it's something that was very difficult. But in my career, just at that time, and gentlemen, you have to remember, when I was wrestling, there was no social media, and social media was just coming out by the time I was wrestling. So what I had to do is, I tell my guys all the time, I said, you guys have it so easy, because I had to get two VCRs and put a tape in every single one of them and do my filming, my videos, and then of course ship it off. And luckily, maybe it would get there or it wouldn't, due to the mailbag or mail carrier or whoever the case was. Today you just push a button and it goes. So I share with them. I was like, you have it so well. I wish I would have had it that well when I was around. But it was a time that a lot of great memories, a lot of people I've met over the years and people I'm still friends with and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been blessed. I got no regrets in my wrestling career. The only regret, I'm going to say one regret, I never got a break. And that was the only thing I wish I would have gotten. I wasn't the right place, the right time, I guess, per se. I guess it just wasn't in the cards for me to get a break, and I never got the break that I really wanted. So that's about my wrestling career.
And then from there, you pick it up and you are here now, seeing these young people come and go, or not, well, I guess just come, they haven't really gone yet, right? In the last 2 or 3 years in your school, but heading on for big things.
Absolutely.
So, you don't see it a lot, but like people like yourself that, were in the business and then actually now giving back to the business. Those are the ones that I really, really have a respect for, because a lot of them, they just, and to each their own. If you want to ride off into the sunset, never to be seen again, that's your choice. But guys like you, I've always had respect that, you're passing it back down. on, like you said, because you kind of were taught by someone you respected very much, got the school from him, and now you're doing the same. And I just can't say like how awesome that is. And
Thank you.
With things like that, that's what's going to keep the business growing and how it should be, you know.
Right. So I mean, it's a matter of what the guys are putting into it because of the knowledge that I bring forth. But you know, I got to tell you this, gentlemen, I'm not a name. I never had the break. I didn't go out there and do, you know, I wasn't WWE, I wasn't WCW, I wasn't these places. But one of the things I was, and over the years, and you can see because it reflects in my matches and my shows that I produce and everything, I'm a student of the game, and I've learned the game, and I've learned the game to the part where, I mean, I'm not going to use this term. Well, I will use it. Screw it. I'm not a mark. I was a wrestler for years. I was doing it. I'm not a guy that just popped up a ring and says, hey, I got 20 grand. Let me put a show together and do it. I'm a guy who actually was out there. I laced my boots up. I got in the ring. I bled. I did everything else like anybody else out there. And I came back, and here I am giving it right back to the guys and putting the future out there right now of pro wrestling.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That really kind of highlights the question I wanted to ask. What was it like for you transitioning from talent to backstage? Like, what was that transition for you? Like mentally, emotionally, did you have fun with it? How was it?
You know, I tell my guys, and I've always told my guys and people that I've met, that the day that you walk into a dressing room for an arena that you want to go wrestle somewhere, and you're working at a different place or different cities when you travel, because I used to do the same thing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was on the road. I did the same thing. But when the day comes where you walk into a dressing room and you sit down and you look around you and you say, I'm ready for this shit to be over. I'm ready to go home. It's time to go.
Right. Time to go home. Right.
And for me, it was already time, because after all those years of 17 years, I had nothing to prove to nobody. If you people who remember me or saw me in the ring and saw what I did, or who remember me back in the day, know that I gave it 110% in there. I gave it my all every night. And if I was opening card, then in my mind, I was main event, and I was going to be main event, regardless of where I was in that card. You know, because I wanted to be main event. I wanted to be remembered, and I wanted people to know who I was and never forget me. But coming out, the day that I said, when I sat down in the dressing room, and I'll never forget this, I think I was in Hondo, Texas wrestling back in 12. And I sat down and I said, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. Then I knew it was time to walk away from this. It was done for me. I'm through.
Wow.
That says a lot that you have the, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but to realize that, hey, you know what, that's it. Because then if you would have gone any farther, you probably would have started like disrespecting the business, don't you think? Or
yes,
by not giving your all. And and that's what it's all about. When it's done right, it's all about respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I am a mark that had a little bit of money, and I'm putting a show on, and I'm a promoter now. So
but don't take that. I'm sorry. Please don't take that offensive that I said that, because the fact that you got to understand, I see people come and go in this business, and I see people come in, and I see people come in with money, and I see people come in with this and come in with that.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't last. It doesn't happen. And you got to understand that from where I came from and what I'm doing now, I have no plans of going anywhere. I'm not knocking you personally. Please don't take that way, you know. But because the fact is that experience prevails, and I'm still going strong, and I plan to get bigger, and I plan to get stronger, and there's nothing going to hold me back, because I have heart and I have drive. The same philosophy and the drive that I had as a wrestler working out there, I've now switched it to a promoter and a trainer, and now that's what I'm gunning for. And and my main thing is to become AAPW, a household name in Austin, Texas, and that's my goal here in Austin for me to do.
And
hell yeah,
you're killing it. I wasn't trying. I took no offense in what you said. I just thought it was kind of funny, so I just wanted to take the shot, the easy shot, you know. But I think what happens with people like that, of course, like I've only been doing this for a couple of years, but I've been a fan and student of this business for 39 years, I guess. So I have a little bit of that. But I think the ones that I've seen that have came and gone, people that just, booked a great card, threw a lot of money, and then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
They just went on their own and did it, and not knowing, versus what I think someone like me or people that like me, first thing I do is I reached out to promoters. I reached out to guys that have been in the business, made it to WWE, asked for advice, did all those kind of things, and used those things. I was humble enough, and I think being humble in this business, it goes a long way, I think. Do you agree?
Yes,
Like anyway,
it does. But always remember, and my advice to you is going to be always keep your mind open to what it is, but also remember you're a business and don't run it as a fan. Run it as a business. And if you run it as a business, then brother, you should have no reason to keep going. You should keep going all the time. And that's one of the things that I've run AAPW as. I don't run it as a fan. I don't run it as a former wrestler. I run it as a businessman because I'm a businessman first now. I'm a businessman first before, and then I'm a trainer second. So without my students, there's no AAPW.
absolutely. I appreciate that. This is turning into like a seminar for promoters, and I'm loving it for no charge.
There you go.
Well, I want to ask you how you feel like the card Saturday went.
You know, gentlemen, those cards that you see every night are those that you see. Of course, I got people that help me out. You know, I'm teaching guys how to put these shows together. I'm teaching them how things work and how it goes from the opening card to the end of the card.
Right.
And there was a little dilemma at the end of the night because in my mind, I wanted to put the hair versus career match main event. Because in Mexico, when I worked for CMLL back in 04 to 06, when I was down there wrestling in Mexico, main event cards always were hair versus mask. Those were the top of the line. You could not top that, period, for the end of the night. So, of course, I have my guys who come to me and they say, I think the ladder match are going to be better. I think you should put the ladder match first. Knowing the talent that I have there and knowing the talent that I do have and the guys that I've trained, the guys that go out there and bust their ass, either one of those would have been main event regardless because you saw that hair versus career match, how it went. Yeah. And it was on top of the key of, well, I was told when I went to the back that the ladder match came and told me we had to pick it up because of what these guys did. We had to lift up what we did because the hair versus career was right up there, and we were having a hard time. How are we going to top this when we get out there? You know? So I guess it's a matter of having these guys and having people learn how to put a match together, how to put a show together, and how to put the fans. You know, one of the things I learned as a wrestler was how to put the fans in the palm of your hand. And if you put the fans in the palm of your hand, you can have them go up. Where's my finger? There you go. See, that's too many chair shots of the head. And then you can have them go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it depends how you put the card and how you want the fans to react. That every single match that I had there from what was going on, of course, was produced, and it came out of me because it came out of my brain and what I wanted to do for a Halloween show. But I couldn't have done it because the guys that went out there and busted their ass and did it, they were the ones that made the show complete and made it whole and made it all the way from top to bottom, you know? And so that card that night was probably one where, you know, gentlemen, because of what as I do, any of those matches that you saw that night could have been main event anywhere in Texas.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that was, and I agree. Juan and I talked about it after we left. It was easily that was one of our favorite events of the year. It was definitely a card of the year candidate as far as we felt. I know that AAPW has been really good lately with like the storytelling has been intense. Like he even gets on to us as fans. Like we kind of heckle Ray sometimes and be like, nah, that was wrong. And he'll just be like, just wait, man. It's not over. Just wait. And the storytelling there has been absolute. I mean, chef's kiss. It's been awesome. We put together cool stuff.
You got to understand, gentlemen, that I'm also older than a lot of guys that are out there, the promoters. So Josh, I am older than you. So I was raised in the era of probably 1970s wrestling, 1980s wrestling, that I bring back a lot of that stuff that you saw that night was ideas from that time frame. That was when wrestling was big. That's when kayfabe was still alive. That's when wrestlers did not sit in the same audience in the dressing room, did not go to the same hotels, did not ride in the same cars, did not do any of that sort of stuff. So the storylines had to be. And one of the things that I've done over the years from having AAPW is I've implemented a lot of the stuff that you saw in the 70s and 80s. If you go back and look at our shows, you're going to see a lot of old school stuff. I stay away from the 90s. I'm sorry, I really do, because for me, wrestling to me, growing up was the 1970s and the 1980s. And if I can bring that philosophy back where the fans are going to be tuned in from start to bottom, from middle, top of the bottom of the card to the very top of the card, then I've done my job. And that's the main goal that I do every night when I put a show together.
Absolutely. Those decades were we're the best. I started watching in 1981, so you are a little bit older.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
1981 was the first time I ever saw a wrestling match. It was world class wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. Ever since then, yeah, I was hooked and haven't stopped. So yeah. And that's awesome because it's real easy. I mean, a lot of the big pops came from the late 90s and, you know, Attitude Era and all that stuff that it blew up and went worldwide and all that. But to me, like, wrestling is the 80s, like, you know, these territory days and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I'm trying to take it that way with what we're doing. So that's exciting.
Right.
So when you say like your goal is to make it just make your company a household name in Austin, like, do you think it's just a matter of time, or is there just one more, like, is there another goal that you see that you need to attain to get there before that? Or is that, like, are you at the cusp of it? Like, where do you see you're at with that right now?
You know, and I say this all the time when people ask me that question, because I get asked that question also. But one of the things that I have to also let people remember that I am not a promotion. As much as I don't try to be a promotion, I'm a wrestling school.
Right.
My guys are not veterans of the business. My guys are not, I mean, I'm talking about my students that I'm bringing in there. My guys are the ones who are breaking into this business. And of course, I mix them in with the guys who already graduate. And of course, I bring in out-of-town talent here and there and insert them where I think they're going to fit and where it's going to bring a better show for somebody. So it's a matter that I think the opportunities are coming to us. I think they'll be there, even though COVID has affected a lot of wrestling. But COVID has been my blessing, actually, because COVID has actually been helping me in the sense that, you know, people are now more open. You saw the crowd we had there. I could not put more people in there. There's no way I could have done it. And on November 14th, I'm now bringing drag queens into the show on November 14th. So I got that show coming up, and that's another one. I have to go buy more chairs now, you know, because I can't. There's no way I could sit. The door lost count at 215 people. You guys, you saw my place. So you know how big it is. And plus I got COVID rules that I have to deal with. I don't want the city to come on my ass either, but you know, it's an opportunity for me to say, hey, if no one else is running, then let me try to take off. Let me try to do something with this and see where it goes and see what not, you know. And if somebody comes in Austin, hey, I'm open to that. Let them come in. I'm not, you know, I pretty much stick to myself. I do my own thing. I don't bother nobody. I don't go and look at no one's business. I don't know no one's promotions. I don't criticize no one's promotions. I don't criticize no one's school. I do my own thing over here, and if you want to be a part, welcome. And if not, then hey, you know, hats off to you for what you're doing in your company. You know, I appreciate it. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, we love your school. I mean, like I said, we talk about AAPW pretty much every week on this show. And I had, even on the matches that I got to run on that show that I ran last, I had Bert Vixen was in my fought for the title for the PPW. So I mean, yeah, I definitely respect what you're doing up there.
Thank you.
Or I will be booking your students. You know?
I mean, there's no question about it to me, and we see a lot, you know. But I have to agree. Like when you go into the AAPW environment, it's very different than being at like an Inspire or a Heavy Metal or another promotion. Because again, it's almost, I compare it a lot to like college ball versus pro football, and there's a lot of heart in AAPW. Like those guys have a lot of heart when they wrestle. Those female talent, and we can see like. We've seen Jasmine and Vert tearing it up multiple times in the last few weeks, but every match they have is different than the last, and they're putting on kind of top each other every time. So that's one thing I will pride AAPW on. Is there's a lot of heart in that room. Every time you step into it, there's a lot of heart and soul in that school, and I love it. It's my favorite place to be right now.
Thank you. Actually, you know, and I'm going to tell you this. One of the main things that I push with my guys and my girls at the school is that, I don't know if you've noticed that or if you've seen it, because after the show, whatever, I push family. We're a big family. AAPW is a big family. Start from the beginning classes to beginner class, intermediate class, senior class, because we got a mixture of all the groups together there. And we have, you know, the classes that are going on. But if you go there, the attitude of everybody's eager to learn. Everyone's being respectful. There's no egos. I have all egos checked, you know, at the door. You know, and I tell the guys all the times that, you know, if you got an ego or you got something wrong, leave it at the door. You got personal problems, leave it at the door. Come in with a clear mind, because wrestling is going to help you. And it's going to help you so much. Like, you know, wrestling saved my life too, gentlemen. You know, wrestling did a lot for me as well, you know. So, you know, it could do a lot for everybody else that's coming in there, because we're a family atmosphere. You know, I look at the girls as my daughters. I look at the guys as my sons. And even though they don't look at me, that's fine. But to me, because I want them to be successful in what they do. And I want them to go out there and strive and be number one and get the break that I never did. because today I live vicariously through them is what I do. So when I see them at a show and I go sit down, I'll buy a ticket and I'll mark out to them. You know, I don't mind doing that because I'll cheer them on. And you'll hear me yelling out their name and stuff like that. So the main thing is that we're a family at AAPW, and we get that perk from people all the time and say, hey, you guys are great over here. We love working over here. Your background, your dressing room is great. Your atmosphere is great. Your attitude is great. And I feel right at home here. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Sorry, I saw that and made me laugh. A while stepchild. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Well, it's about that time for the go home segment. Pops, this is a tradition. I'll take over this week explaining it. This is our last thing that we do every week, right? Basically, Josh and I are going to rotate asking you questions. They're random. Okay. They're short answer questions. Think like yes or no, or this or that type of deal. But they're completely random. And it's just a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we say you have like a 5 count to answer them, but it's like an AEW 5 count, so it can go up to like.
Okay. Okay.
We try to keep it down. But so are you ready to go home?
Yeah, let's take it home, brother. I'm blown up already. Let's go.
What's your favorite fast food item on any menu?
The Whopper from Burger King.
Nice.
When brushing your teeth, do you start on the inside or the outside of your teeth?
Outside of my teeth.
I'm an inside
Which
guy.
member of the Brady Bunch is the most boring?
Alice the maid.
Ooh.
Good one. Scarface or Godfather?
Scarface all the way, brother.
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I am right-handed.
Okay.
Would you rather have to crawl on all fours or walk backwards forever?
Crawl on all fours.
You see where you're going.
Will you ever book Insane versus Jay Lethal?
You know,
never say never.
Never say never. COVID killed me, brother. You know that. I would have had Jay Lethal here. You know that killed me.
I know. I was so bummed about that one.
Would you rather be friends with Superman or Spider-Man?
Superman.
Who do you think would win a game of Monopoly? Ted DiBiase or JBL?
JBL.
He's a smart dude.
Yeah, he is very intelligent. And I think he's running. I think he might be he's running his hat for the governorship of Texas. Watch out for that.
Yeah, the next time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, I heard about that. Would you rather have wings but can't fly, or gills and not be able to go underwater?
Wings.
Yeah, definitely. Could you pass an 8th grade math test right now?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Which of the 7 dwarves is most like you?
Snow White.
Nice. I did not see that one.
Because I don't know any of them, and I'm not sleepy. I'm not dopey. That's all I know.
What is your favorite Halloween candy?
Candy corn.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That was a double wow.
Not expecting that one.
If you could hack into any one person's computer, who would it be in the world?
You got me on that one. Sorry.
Okay. If animals could talk, which animal would be the rudest?
Dogs.
Oh, wow.
Oof. What movie can you quote from beginning to end?
The Color Purple.
Nice.
Oh, what would be the worst buy one, get one free sale of all time? Like what item would just be the worst to see this buy one, get one free?
Tennis shoes.
If
I
you
wouldn't buy that.
No. If you were given $1,000 and had to spend it on yourself, what would you buy?
A new computer.
All right. Are super kicks overdone?
Absolutely.
Very well.
And this is the final This is the same question we've asked every single guest. We always end with the same 20th question.
Okay.
Most of them have gotten it wrong. Does pineapple go on pizza?
No.
Dude, I'm on a losing streak right now. I think
It's my time now.
You're talking to a meat lovers pizza guy. I love meat lovers, and I can't have no pepperoni, no pineapple. Excuse me, on my pizza. Now my tacos is a different story. But my pizza,
all day.
Well, there you have it.
It's very cool, man. Thank you so much for joining us in the pit, dropping knowledge. I can't thank you enough for the advice that you've given me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be messaging you a lot more going forward. So don't block me on Facebook.
Well, I'm gonna say, guys, I'm gonna plug my show on November the 14th. That's my birthday show, of course. I'm gonna be in San Antonio on the 7th with Jazz's farewell. So on the 14th, I will not. We're gonna have a show then, but I changed it so I can be there for her. But on the November the 14th, we're having our show where we're gonna have the drag queens perform in between matches. And so it's something different that no one has done. So of course, who am I to bring out something different? So let's do it. Let's bring out the drag queens in between matches and let them perform and let the people see what they've been missing out on.
Hell yeah, can't wait.
Very awesome, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Be safe. Wish you the best.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks again. Good night.
Great guest.
That was really good. I felt attacked in the beginning, but of course I knew he didn't do it. He didn't mean it that way.
That's
and then I felt attacked when he said dogs are the rudest. What?
But immediately I thought to myself, though, if you think about it, like if a dog could talk, they would do nothing but interrupt you, and that's pretty rude. Like that's pretty rude.
That would be rude. They lack patience. Patience. So that's a good point. I was just thinking cats is always my answer to that but I'm not a fan of cats. So maybe that's a personal issue I need to work on.
I personally think that warthogs would have been the rudest animals.
Each their own. All right. Well, appreciate everybody watching. Somebody put LOL on something. I don't know what that was. Got to click that. Yeah, it was probably. All right. Well, appreciate another episode in the books. Thank you very much.
See y'all next week.
Boom! What is that?